Hey guys, so last video I talked about how you can put together a home gym because of this quarantine and everything that everybody's dealing with right now, not being in your gyms. But I want to talk about today about really how easy it is to keep your muscle gains during this time period. It might not be as hard as you think, and you don't need to go out and get all this expensive equipment. So check it out. A lot of people are worried about losing their progress that they've made in the gym during this time period when we're quarantined and have to train from home. So let's first talk about, where that all came from. In other words, why did your body put muscle on in the first place? So the key there is resistance training. So your body produces muscle to overcome a resistance that it's put on it that it can't normally handle or it's not accustomed to. And the byproduct by proper nutrition, recovery, and training is you grow muscle tissue. Now, it was a big wake-up call to me when I was rehabbing my shoulder about 4 years ago after having shoulder surgery, how little effort it took to bring back what I had. And because that's from a phenomenon called muscle memory. Basically what that means is it doesn't take as much to bring back what you had or keep what you already have. So in other words, when we're through this time period at home, you don't need to be out there crushing it like you are maybe normally in the gym. You can do a lot more minimal things and maintain where you're at. So let's talk about resistance training. Now, yes, most people are out there lifting weights, but there's lots of ways to do it other than just lifting weights. You can use resistance bands, you can use the loops. You can use things like just regular dumbbells or household items, things around your house, body weight. Again, it's just keeping that muscle tissue. It doesn't take as much to retain or bring back what you had. And then once this is all said and done, you go back to the gym or whatever your regular routine was, crush it and go beyond than you were before, but you're going to start from a good place by just keeping what you have. By doing this basic resistance training, it doesn't take a lot of equipment and you can still make progress. And I'll talk about a couple more things next about how you can maximize that. So the second tip is something I've been talking to my clients about a lot lately, and that's posing or flexing. Anybody that stepped on stage can vouch for how hard it is and how strenuous it is to flex and pose your muscle. When you flex, it's a muscular contraction. If you're flexing a muscle as hard as you physically can, your body doesn't know that you're doing it voluntarily versus saying using an opposing resistance like a weight or a band or something like that. So it's actually very, very effective to incorporate posing into your routine right now because it's going to obviously require no equipment, but also it's going to complement whatever type of training you're able to do, whether it be bodyweight bands or anything like that. My recommendation is you want to hold each pose for about 10 to 15 seconds. Now, you can do it two different ways. You can either say, I'm doing upper body, and so I'm going to flex my upper body muscles, or you can do it a whole body and just do the whole body in one session. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. If you watch, I'm actually going to start holding some online posing classes. I think this will be a nice thing for people to try this for the first time in a non-intimidating environment. Whether you're a competitor or just somebody who's worried about muscle mass, flexing and posing is certainly a way to do it, especially in this time. Okay. The third thing that you can do right now to retain your muscle mass is through stimulating those fast twitch muscle fibers. Now, when you're doing resistance training, when we're building muscle, the main fiber that we're focused on here is your type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers. These are the ones that respond to fast twitch, explosive movements. And ways you can do this now too is incorporating that, through doing things like sprints, plyometrics, boot camp style training where you're explosive and moving fast. There's tons of things you can do. It's a great opportunity to go outside, hill sprints, do up downs, do all kinds of stuff. But, go out there and it's explosive movements. And again, that's going to stimulate those same muscle fibers that we're trying to retain that we built, in the traditional gym setting. and by incorporating, you know, the body weight, doing the posing, like I mentioned, doing the plyometrics and that explosive things, you're really going to have a great combination with virtually no equipment at your disposal to keep those gains. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Again, we're in this together. These are tips that you can use at your home to keep the gains that you've worked so hard to build, and I would say still make progress. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, share it with others, watch for my online posing class, and until next time, keep making every day count.